Priyo, you are correct. Just now, I think my problem is I didn't enable the audio on computer. Let me try one more time. You see whether the sound is better. Okay, share sound.
Between any device, app, web destination, on-premises resource, or infrastructure. With cloud computing, BYOD, and remote work, corporate data is accessed and stored everywhere around the world. Organizations need to defend this data, block threats, and achieve regulatory compliance. But using choke point security appliances for policy enforcement is no longer a scalable, viable strategy. Bitglass's secure access service edge platform integrates its Magic Quadrant leading cloud access security broker with zero trust network access and the world's only on-device secure web gateway. Bitglass provides a single dashboard for configuring policies that secure data consistently wherever it goes. Deployed in the public cloud, Bitglass's polyscale architecture boasts an industry-leading uptime of 99.99%, delivering unparalleled performance and real-time scalability anywhere in the world. Total cloud security, consolidated ease of use, and unrivaled performance. Only with Bitglass.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for the introduction. Hope you
Dr. Pratama, say something. Dr. Pratama, yeah, you are having internet problem. Okay, I push you to panelist, sorry. Audie, when you see the panelists, let them into the panel session, yeah?
I cannot, I think you must make me co-host.
I thought you were a co-host, hang on, yeah? Oh yeah, you're not co-host yet. Okay, you're co-host now.
Okay.
Dr. Pratama, testing. Are you able to hear us? Okay, Dr. Pratama is saying that his internet connection at his area got problem. So worst case, we might have to delay the keynote. We'll go straight to the two Bitglass speakers first, yeah?
That's possible. Or you do one Bitglass first, then you invite the keynote. Typically, the keynote don't have to be the first. You know, you have like because Bitglass is a sponsor, so they speak first, and then they bring on the main event, which is the VIP, which is the guest, which is the keynote. You can do that, you see.
Sure, we'll play by the year. The other thing is unless, as per normal, you're the utility guy, I push you to opening, you say something on behalf of CSAS. But okay, for once you'll do it the other way around, I'll just let PK Lim and Frankie go first. Anyway, internet problem, never knows.
Ray, can you hear me?
Dr. Pratama, you okay?
Selamat siang, Bapak.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Selamat siang.
Discussing.
My internet, my connection is unstable.
Okay, you're good now. You're good now.
No, you need SASE.
It's not good.
Audie, you can, Dr. Pratama, you're looking good. Thank you for the support. Nice backdrop. Frankie, do you mind taking back the video? Because I need to prepare for the slide. I think it's easier if somebody else play the video.
I need to try. Okay, hang on.
Okay, you try. So I give you the screen control, yeah? Where are you? Yeah, I make you co-host. Dr. Pratama, I'm going to make you co-host because you'll be the first to go after me. I cannot. By the way, friends, the YouTube has started up, yeah, so we're actually on air.
Okay.
I think maybe we're already at maximum panelists. I cannot change Dr. Pratama to host. Oh, Odi, are you able to make Dr. Pratama host, co-host?
I will try, but wait.
Okay, you try.
No, I cannot, but I cannot give Dr. Pratama being co-host.
Can you see who's the host right now?
Host is Frankie.
It's okay, right?
Okay, yeah. Frankie is a host.
And then the co-host is Ahmad CISS Ray.
That is okay. I think that he's on Pratama's team.
But I'm not the co-host. Maybe Frankie or Ahmad can give Dr. Pratama being co-host.
Okay, okay.
So what do I need to do?
Can you play the video while
Where's the share
okay.
video button? Share audio.
It was right. If me, it was on the bottom row, and then you click the last one where is there the last on the extreme. There's one when you up it. There's one that say share sound.
Share
The bottom. On the bottom extreme. No luck?
No luck. Okay, let me put it back to the code. Move the, how do I pass the host back?
You just stop and then I'll take back.
Stop already.
Okay, so we probably forget about the video, yeah, because I got a hard time moving back to the slides after that. So I'd rather straight be on my first page. Okay, guys, so we'll stay on this slide to be safe. Does my voice sounds okay?
Perfect.
Okay, for some reasons, I still got a share sound control tick, but that's for the video. So I just want to make sure. We got 22 people already in. Okay, so we're at 3 o'clock. Audience, give us another 5 minutes. Let a few more people stream in. 5 minutes late, and then we will start. So Dr. Pratama, you're next after me. Stand by, yeah. Frankie, good news. Moderator is ready. He actually got his screen turned on. I said that he's still in a meeting, so he's
right.
be on time. $26. Yeah, 5 minutes delay. We probably got much better audience if we start 5 minutes late. $27. Okay, audience coming in, be a bit patient. We're waiting for a bit more cloud, and then we're going to start at 3:05. Give us about another 3 minutes more. 4 minutes, yeah. 28 audience. Yeah. For participants coming in, give us another 2 minutes. We are going to start at 3:05 sharp. Okay, we're right on time. We are going to start. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our webinar today. Looking forward to a good session as usual. We got a good lineup for the panel session. I'm sure all of you will enjoy it. So to kickstart the webinar, let me just take you through a couple of slides just to warm up. So this is a slide that we're using when we were promoting the run up to the show. This is the list of panelists already on standby. Moderator is going to be Pa Arafin. He's a seasoned moderator for Ision. We went through many shows together. Yeah, on the panel, a group of seasoned cybersecurity personnel, including a very good friend, Anthony Lim, together on the show as usual. Anthony, welcome as usual. Yeah, Pa Priyo, Pa Ramu, thank you very much. On standby, Frankie, you're good, I'm sure. Yeah, so I'm waiting for signal that our keynote speaker is ready. So before the keynote came on board as well, this is just a quick run through on the agenda. I consider ourselves as still on schedule. So after Dr. Pratama, we are going to hear from the Bitglass speakers. Two of them, both of them are well known on the cybersecurity industry as well. After that, the part where the audience always look forward to is the panel sessions. All the panelists are ready. Moderator will be coming in soon as well. So I'm going to hand over to the first so-called speaker. His name is Dr. Pratama. He's a chairman of a community called SASE. SASE is well known in the Indonesia, to the Indonesian audience. Dr. Pratama has appeared on media on regular shows. He has always been very supportive of Ision's effort as well. Typically for Dr. Pratama, he wants the audience to be comfortable. We are mainly having a local Indonesian crowd today. He will do the keynotes in Bahasa. Dr. Pratama, all yours. Dr. Pratama, okay, you are mute, yeah? Let me try to unmute you. Hang on a second.
I will unmute.
Okay, now you're good. Yeah, all yours,
Okay.
friend. Okay,
Thank you,
very
Ray.
much.
Ya,
Yeah.
selamat siang semuanya. Ray, Arifin, my friend, Pak Priyo, Anthony Lim, you are great. Frankie, and Ramu, maybe he doesn't come yet. Perkenalkan, nama saya Pratama. Tadi Ray sudah menjelaskan, saya adalah chairman dari lembaga riset CISREC, Communication and Information System Security Research Center. Jadi lembaga yang memang fokus terhadap keamanan cyber gitu. Nah, Ray, okay, I'm speaking bahasa ya.
Yes, Bahasa is much better for the audience. Yeah, we are mainly having a local Bahasa audience. Yeah.
Ini cukup menarik ketika kita berbicara masalah Secure Access Service Edge atau SASE dan dibandingkan dengan Zero Trust begitu. Zaman dahulu ketika kita belajar masalah network security, kita hanya mengenal konvensional network security gitu. Kita belajar firewall, bagaimana kita setting IDS, IPS dan lain-lain begitu. Tapi ternyata perkembangan zaman menuntut kita harus bisa lebih begitu. Apalagi ketika saat ini sedang ada pandemi COVID. Saya adalah salah satu survivor dari COVID, hampir 2 bulan kena COVID, tapi alhamdulillah bisa sehat begitu. Saat ini ketika banyak staf, karyawan, para manajer, bos bekerja dari rumah, keamanan menjadi isu utama. Begitu. Nah, ini yang menyebabkan kita harus lebih berhati-hati. Kenapa? Karena ketika kita mengakses sistem dari somewhere else gitu, dari rumah, dari kafe dan dari tempat-tempat lain begitu, banyak ancaman yang bisa datang mengancam sistem kita. Nah, Zero Trust hadir dengan konsepnya yang never trust, always verify. Gitu. Jadi harus di-verify dan tidak boleh dipercaya. Sehingga saat itu yang ada dalam sistem adalah orang-orang yang bisa dipercaya. Tetapi masalahnya adalah ketika sistem yang kita miliki, sistem internal yang kita miliki itu disusupi oleh mungkin pihak-pihak yang tidak berhak untuk masuk ke sistem kita, akhirnya apa? Akhirnya sistem jadi tidak bisa dipercaya gitu. Nah, dalam Zero Trust itu ada 3 hal wajib yang dilakukan: secure access, kemudian control access, dan inspect log traffic gitu. Kemudian juga Zero Trust hadir ketika kita sedang tren-trennya bring your own devices gitu. Artinya apa? Kita bisa mengakses sistem jaringan kantor kita dengan gadget-gadget apapun yang kita miliki gitu. Tetapi masalahnya adalah ketika karyawan mulai bekerja dari rumah gitu, akhirnya security ini menjadi agak ternodai, apa ya bahasanya ya, agak agak apa namanya, sedikit demi sedikit batasan keamanan itu mulai memudar begitu. Kita menggunakan gadget yang tidak ada security-nya, kemudian kita menggunakan komputer yang sebenarnya belum maksimal security-nya begitu, sehingga ketika kita mengakses sistem server kita dari remote begitu, banyak celah-celah keamanan di sana gitu. Memang kalau kita lihat ketika kita berbicara masalah firewall atau pengamanan perimeter tradisional memang masih penting begitu, tetapi pentingnya itu belum cukup gitu, masih kurang. Contohnya begini, pada tahun 2016 ketika saya melakukan audit di Istana Presiden gitu, kebetulan saya menjadi ketua tim IT Presiden. Saat itu dari Wi-Fi-nya wartawan kita bisa mengakses sampai ke core servernya setnek, setcap, dan setmail. Artinya apa? Artinya pembatasan atau policy yang digunakan untuk pengamanan tidak maksimal begitu. Padahal itu sebenarnya haram hukumnya. Ketika kita menyatukan akses publik dengan akses private gitu. Nah, itu contohnya seperti itulah. Nah, kalau misalkan institusi sebesar istana saja bisa melakukan itu, artinya banyak institusi lain gitu, terutama di government atau perusahaan-perusahaan yang tidak aware terhadap security juga melakukan hal yang sama. Nah, ini tidak boleh terjadi. Kenapa? Karena kita sekarang tahu bahwa data itu, informasi itu adalah the new oil gitu. Artinya itu adalah barang yang sangat berharga. Nah, oleh karena itu kita harus benar-benar melindunginya. Nah, kemudian ketika zero trust access gitu, sebenarnya ada sistem itu validasi gitu. Jadi semua yang masuk baik kontrol kemudian aksesnya itu divalidasi gitu. Tetapi ternyata validasi ini tidak terlalu diperhatikan gitu, tidak terlalu kurang diperhatikan dibandingkan dengan komponen kontrolnya gitu. Nah, akhirnya berdasarkan riset dari Gartner gitu bahwa memang enterprise itu membutuhkan kapabilitas secure access service edge gitu. Karena apa? Karena memang di situ level keamanannya itu jauh lebih tinggi gitu. Nah, kalau kita berbicara masalah level keamanan, kemudian kita berbicara masalah cloud gitu. Nah, ini juga menjadi masalah. Kenapa? Karena hampir semua perusahaan saat ini basisnya menggunakan cloud. Kalau dari data yang saya miliki itu sekitar 94% bisnis itu sudah menggunakan cloud gitu. Dan diperkirakan tahun 2022 itu sejumlah 42,5% pekerja di seluruh dunia akan bekerja secara mobile. Nah, ini akan jadi masalah, apalagi ketika kantor pusat akan memperluas cabang-cabangnya di daerah gitu. Nah, ini resiko-resiko pertasan, kemudian resiko-resiko pengelabuhan atau resiko-resiko pengerusakan itu jadi semakin tinggi gitu. Contohnya adalah di tahun 2018 saya punya data saat itu sedang rame-ramenya skimming kartu ATM begitu. Nah, ketika orang takut bahwa ini sangat membahayakan nih, ini adalah momok utama untuk sistem pembayaran gitu. Tapi ternyata enggak juga gitu. Ternyata peretasan sistem pembayaran itu lebih besar daripada skimming kerugiannya gitu. Artinya apa? Artinya orang kalau mau ngerampok yang besar-besaran itu nggak usah pakai skimmer. Yang kita beli $200 di Cina alatnya gitu. Kemudian kita bisa bikin kartu ATM palsu, kita bisa nyari ATM yang bisa kita pasangin skimmer gitu. Duitnya kecil gitu. Orang lebih memilih menggunakan langsung meretas sistem pembayaran gitu. Apalagi ketika bank-bank sekarang pengamanannya sangat menyedihkan sekali. Mohon maaf ini gitu. Saya berkali-kali diskusi dengan Ray. bank ini lemah sekali gitu. Bank ini lemah sekali gitu. Bahkan beberapa bank itu kita bisa edit rekeningnya, bayangkan saja gitu. Nah, ini kan bahaya banget gitu. Padahal di situ ada masyarakat gitu. Nah, kalau duit kita tiba-tiba hilang gitu hanya gara-gara si bank tidak menggunakan pengamanan yang maksimal, yang mau disalahin siapa? Gitu. Kita duitnya hilang, bank juga nggak punya duit karena duitnya diambil sama orang begitu. Nah, oleh karena itu disinilah pentingnya security gitu. Nah, zaman dahulu ketika kita mau mengkoneksikan branch office dengan headquarter gitu, kita kenal istilahnya MPLS ya, multi protocol label switching gitu. Kita sewa jaringan private, jaringan tertutup, kemudian kita melakukan akses semua sistem kita di jaringan tertutup itu gitu. Tapi masalahnya adalah mahal sekali gitu. Kenapa mahal ya? Karena kita menyewa jaringan tertutup gitu. Sedangkan akses itu harus dilakukan sebenarnya dari mana saja gitu. Oleh karena itu memang teknologi Secure Access Service Edge ini menjadi pilihan utama ya sekarang kalau kita ingin benar-benar mengamankan sistem yang ada di perusahaan kita, terutama sistem yang enterprise gitu. Terus kemudian ada yang tanya, apakah zero trust itu jelek? Enggak jelek gitu. Zero trust juga bagus gitu. Zero trust akses itu juga bagus gitu. Tetapi kalau misalkan kita mau membuat sistem yang luas begitu dengan berbagai banyak cabang gitu, ya kita membutuhkan sistem yang lebih. Kenapa? Karena memang zero trust access itu sebenarnya adalah bagian dari secure access service edge gitu. Sehingga kalau kita dibilang bagus mana ya sebenarnya bagus secure access service edge gitu. Nah, tapi ini juga ada kekurangannya SASE ini. Kenapa? Karena ini teknologi baru. Ketika kita berbicara masalah teknologi baru, tentu ada beberapa hal yang harus kita perhatikan, terutama adalah SDM. SDM-nya harus ngerti banget nih. Harus ngerti bagaimana melakukan kontrol, bagaimana melakukan setting, bagaimana melakukan konfigurasi dan lain-lain. Nah, ini membutuhkan waktu gitu. Kemudian juga karena ini adalah teknologi baru gitu, adaptasi SDM dalam penggunaan sistem ini juga mungkin perlu waktu gitu. Tetapi saya pikir worth it lah kalau kita bisa mendapatkan keamanan yang maksimal dengan pengorbanan kita mau belajar sedikit gitu. Jadi yang perlu kita pahami sekarang sebenarnya tidak ada secure access service edge kalau nggak ada zero trust gitu. Artinya apa? Artinya memang kedua sistem ini adalah sistem yang saling mengait gitu, menjadi satu gitu. Nanti akan dijelaskan nih sama Pak Antoni atau Pak Frankie tentang cloud access security broker gitu. Nanti akan lebih detail dijelaskan begitu. Tetapi apapun itu security nggak ada gunanya sebenarnya kita membuat sistem yang hebat, kuat, tapi security-nya itu sangat lemah gitu. Contohnya adalah Tokopedia, kemudian Bukalapak, ada Bhinneka, kemudian di institusi pemerintah ada Kemendikbud, kemudian ada Pemda-Pemda gitu. Yang harusnya mereka bisa berinvestasi terhadap security, tapi tidak dilakukan sehingga akhirnya terjadi kebocoran. Akibatnya apa? Trust terhadap perusahaan tersebut menjadi berkurang begitu. Untung saja di Indonesia belum punya undang-undang perlindungan data pribadi, sehingga ketika terjadi kebocoran data yang melibatkan masyarakat gitu, pemilik platform ini masih tenang-tenang saja gitu, karena mereka merasa bahwa saya juga korban gitu. Padahal kalau misalkan kita memiliki undang-undang perlindungan data pribadi, kalau di Eropa kita kenal dengan GDPR gitu. Di sana kalau misalkan ada satu data gitu pribadi yang bocor, nggak main-main dendanya 20 juta euro gitu. Sehingga perusahaan itu benar-benar memperhatikan masalah security. Nah, semoga di Indonesia undang-undang perlindungan data pribadi juga cepat diundangkan begitu. Ini adalah tugas kita semua sebagai komunitas IT di Indonesia, bagaimana kita bisa ikut mensupport supaya undang-undang perlindungan data pribadi ini benar-benar bisa menjadi undang-undang yang bisa melindungi masyarakat kita. Yang bisa saya sampaikan, terima kasih. Nanti akan dijelaskan lebih detail oleh pakar-pakar yang memang sangat hebat dalam bidangnya gitu. Akhirul kalam, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Dr. Pratama. Well done as usual. A very enlightening opening keynote from Dr. Pratama. So today the sessions is going to be all about SASE, CASB. What is zero trust? Zero trust is a big framework. Either you love it or you hate it. Yeah. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to hear from Bitglass itself. They are the sponsors for the webinar today. The first thing that I need is Frankie. You're still holding the host button. Yeah. I need you to let PK Lim into the panel list as well.
Ray, you are the host now.
I'm the host right now. Okay, good. So PK, are you ready to come on air? So next we are going to have Mr. We call him PK Lim normally. His full name is Lim Pang Kok. So we are having Mr. Lim Pang Kok of Bitglass, VP for Bitglass APAC, to come on air to say a hello and also to give us his insight onto the same topic.
Ray, you have to activate for PK. He's in the attendance list. You are the host now.
Sure.
Thank you.
Second.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go to the attendance list and move.
Yes,
PK.
I found Mr. PK. So first, I'm going to move him across to the panel group.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Ray.
There you are.
Okay, you are just going to talk or you got some slide, then I'm going to stop share.
No, I have no slide.
Okay, good. All yours. Audience is listening into you. Welcome back to the cybersecurity world.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all joining these afternoon sessions. My name is PK. For those of you who don't know who am I, I'm actually in this security market for almost 30 years. I actually been start out a few companies before, including like Blue Coat, Palo Alto, Fortinet, etc. And then right now I'm actually officially the VP sales for Bitglass. Yeah. So nothing special, but I'm also learning as well. So I'm here to learn from everybody together. Thank you. Ray?
Unmute, Ray. Unmute, Ray. You still mute.
Ray, you're muted.
Okay, since Ray is
so PK, I just repeat, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. Welcome back, PK. We still got a bit of time before we bring on the panel session. So it'd be good to invite Frankie also to give us a bit of insight, set a stage for the panelists to come on next. Frankie, you're gonna put on some slide, I guess. I'll stop.
Yes, I'm a slide man.
All yours, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Pak Ray. Selamat siang, everybody.
Siang.
Yep. Right. It's my honor to have PK to be my boss for the region. So allow me to set the perspective towards the panel discussion. Of course, setting the baseline here is very important for the audience. And thanks for your participation here. Now, of course, the key topics here is about new technology called SASE versus like zero trust. So these are the two big hot topics in the industry today. I heard Dr. Pratama mention like MPLS. This was like one of the killer technology back in the 90s and millennium, right? basically, MPLS replaces, the older technology of frame relay, if you know what I'm talking about. So what is about, so SASE, and what is so interesting about Zero Trust with respect to what is the existing technology that is supposed to address some of the limitation, right? So first thing first, we all need to know what is going on in the industry, right? In terms of technology, is very, very fast moving. It's not because of technology wanting to be fast moving, but because, a lot of innovation on the business that is using technology to drive changes, right? So one of the big trend, number one, is the exploding adoption of public cloud applications and public cloud infrastructure, which is a big shift from the private data center, private cloud, hybrid cloud, but into the public cloud scale model, right? Ultimately, a lot of customers are looking at cloud first initiative, regardless whether they are traditional enterprise or they are the new generation born in the cloud type company. For example, Gojek, right? They are the new gen companies. Ultimately, their goal is to be able to do any apps in the cloud. Not going to be traditional buying application licensing, buying infrastructure, and own the application, own the infrastructure, and own the operation for the next 5 to 10 years. Become very, very rigid, right? So the trending is there. You will see that more and more customer, maybe including yourself, moving in this direction into the tremendous adoption of cloud, right? So next trend, you can see that aside from the shift in the adoption of application in the cloud, on the endpoint, you are seeing a very strong adoption of both corporate devices, especially employee bringing their own BYODs, right? Personal devices. So a lot of enterprises embrace productivity for employee to use personal devices. So we call it any device is one of the major trend. So number 3, kicks in last year, pandemic, kind of shift the way people work away from the comfort of the office, away from the on-prem security posture or parameter, moving into the so-called remote working, which is working from home, right? And we call it any network, right? What is happening here is, a typical scenario, right? Everybody is on the Zoom at the same time, enjoying your coffee, walking the dogs, or doing your childcare at home, right? Or, doing IT support for your family. Right, that said, okay, so the trend created new challenges, right? So from cyber point of view, it has expanded the control surface or control area that you want to control. Previously was very on-prem, now into the cloud mobility. Then the control surface has expanded beyond on-prem, and of course, from a hacker point of view, the attack surface has also increased, right? Because your data is in the cloud, say in O365, in Workday, for example, you're using corporate devices to serve internet, but not via the corporate infrastructure from home, right? So you may be encountering very high-risk website, for example, malware, spam website, where the corporate infrastructure cannot protect you, right? And then employee using unmanaged devices to access. So what is the risk of having users using unmanaged or personal devices to access corporate application and data? So what happens if the data is downloaded to the personal device? So from a cybersecurity point or governance, is a high risk, right? So that's it. Challenges too will be the shifting security parameter. The traditional parameter really goes around the physical infrastructure, the brick and mortar, IT controls the endpoint, the network access, IT controls the user identity, right? Because the apps are all internal. Yeah. So the modern parameter, which is what is happening, very cloud-centric, So user controls the device. OS, IT doesn't own all the infrastructure. They still own the on-prem, but in the cloud, they don't own it anymore. So how do they control? And then user trust alone is not sufficient. So this is really about, how you define zero trust, right? So joining a domain is not enough as what is happening in the on-prem. So when you're working from home, how does the corporate application trust you? Trust your device, trust your location, all into consideration. So challenge 3 will be how, IT wants to maintain visibility of how the user access the application, ultimately the digital asset, which is the data, and how to apply control in terms of policy control, access control, data leakage control, or zero trust control. Okay, so that's it. We are here, to challenge the legacies, right? So Gartner already published that, the new norm is, like 70% of the company do not want the employee to return to the office. So even post-pandemic, you will see people start to work from anywhere, any network. So from a IT infra or cloud infra or cybersecurity, the whole enterprise security concept need to change. Okay, so big question is, how do you secure your cloud, your mobile data while empowering remote working with digital transformation, all at the same time? Okay, so enter SASE economics. Okay, so Gartner again came into the industry to define a big convergence, and I will explain what is the big convergence about. And you say that in the next 2 years, at least 20% of the enterprises will adopt SASE, consisting of next-gen secure web gateway, not the on-prem version, the cloud version, and then of course CASB for securing cloud application, zero trust network access, SD-WAN, virtual appliance services, really cloud native model, all from the same vendor. So today there may be a pocket of so-called silo adoption, right, from multi vendors. But going forward, there'll be a huge consolidation. In 2024, at least 40% will have a very explicit, that means must have strategy into a SASE strategy into the cybersecurity blueprint. Okay, so this slide illustrates the major convergence that is coming up. Because that, I would say that is the so-called evolution or the seismic shift in terms of cybersecurity, combining network security, which everybody's aware of what is network security, remote access, VPN, QoS, web filtering, appliance-based, very much appliance-based network security, and the cloud security, which is very much a CASB kind of use cases that was defined for the last 4 to 5 years, right? So connect it securely, secure it at the data endpoint, right? So convergence into a SASE platform. No, so how do you going to build a SASE platform, right? So different vendor will jump into the bandwagon. So one of the panel topic, why people are jumping into the bandwagon for SASE. So if you allow me to make some introduction of Bitglass, our SASE platform, we have innovated from a CASB platform 4 or 5 years ago using cloud native design architecture, not based on appliances, not based on private data center, which are not scalable. We are running on a public cloud architecture framework, very scalable globally. And we have make it very easy for us to expand our CASB platform into a SASE platform, right? So, and it's all very modular based on microservices, if you know what I mean. So customer can subscribe to CASB as a service in the cloud to secure any devices, be it corporate devices or personal devices accessing managed application in the cloud. Say examples, SAP, Oracle Cloud Apps, ServiceNow, Workday, G Suite, Office 365 or Slack, for example, right? The next module, next generation Smart Edge Secure Web Gateway, and we are the only vendor that allows you to push intelligent web gateway to the endpoint, okay, not at the cloud proxy, at the endpoint, so that the user experience will be the most ideal in terms of policy control for web control at the endpoint. So regardless where are the user using the corporate devices, especially when they are working from home, okay? And then of course, zero trust network access for you to augment or to replace VPN appliances and have better granular control from external backhauling to the internal application without a VPN. Okay, so typical VPN is when you log into the VPN, username, password, some advanced VPN will do multi-factor, and then you are connected to the network, meaning you can go laterally to any segment provided the firewall doesn't block you, right? So zero trust will be more granular. It will be role-based. It will open only selected approved application port for you to access. That's it, right? And on top of that, there's a lot of visibility of what you are doing, plus data leak protection, threat protection riding on top. So which VPN concept doesn't provide. So I'm going to pause here. Okay, already said enough kind of like trending, challenges, some baseline of Bitglass transformation from a KSB innovator to a SASE platform player going forward. So do allow me to turn it over to Pak Ray, our MC, to continue. So Pak Ray, you want to take over from here?
Sure, Frankie, well done. Nice stating of the stage, we call it. So I hope the audience is a bit more clear, basically what the key terms are all about. Yeah, well, what's a CASB, what's SASE, a bit what Zero Trust is all about. Pak Arifin, welcome. Yeah, our moderator is ready already. He's back on air, but before I go there, allow me to turn on one more slide before introduce a panel team. Oops, my computer seems to be jammed out. So, okay, I'll do without the slide. We go that way. Okay, all I want to do before the panel teams come on air, I really need to say thank you to an organization called ESPC. They've been a regular supporter of Ision shows. They are also a founding partner of what we call MSION across in Malaysia. So ESPC has done a lot of work to help me to ensure that we are live actually as we speak on YouTube, and they are also broadcasting the show onto their ESPC Go portal. So thank you very much, ESPC. Well done, team. And for now, then I need to introduce our moderator for the day, Pak Arifin. Say hi.
Hi everybody.
Hey, hi, Pak. Okay, so Pak Arifin is a seasoned moderator for Ision. We went through many shows together. I know you was very busy early on in the meeting. I'm glad that you make it. Can you check whether you're able to share screen?
Okay. I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, okay, so all yours. Arifin, all yours, welcome, and I'm sure you can introduce your team panel well. All yours,
okay.
Arifin. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Pare. Everybody, good afternoon. We'll enter the next session of the event today, which is the panel discussion. With me now we have 4 panelists already. I will give some short introduction of these panelists. The first one is Dr. Priyo Utomo. He's a Asian advisory now, and also he's coming from academic background. Currently, he's the head of technology management at Multimedia Nusantara University. It's a private university in Indonesia. He has more than 20 years experience in this field in IT. Previously, he was a director in Cisco in Indonesia. And also before that, he was with HP and Compaq. So thank you, Dr. Trio, for joining this discussion. Can you say something to make sure that your mic is already okay?
Yeah, nice to meet you, Pak Arifin, and also all the panelists. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Pak. Our second panelist is Arifel Ramu. I hope I say it correctly. He's currently a CTO at Tonic Bank. It's a digital bank based in Singapore. He has more than 15 years experience in IT industry. And as a CTO in a digital bank, he's well versed in a kind of digitalization and a lot of concepts to consider in that field. We certainly will get valuable insight from him today from this topic. Thank you, Ramu. I call you Ramu, right? For participating.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for joining. And the next is Anthony Lim. I don't think I need to introduce him. He's well known in this community. He is quite affiliated in so many things: governance advocate, business leader, consultant. Kind of one of pioneer in information security and cyber security in APAC. He's also one of the founder of the Ision community. Thank you for joining this event, Pak Anthony.
Thank you for having us, Bapak-bapak, Ibu-ibu. Terima kasih. Selamat siang. Okay,
the last one is Frank Lim. You guys already had presented before this session. So Frank Lim is Regional Director Asia, Bitglass. He will give us more insights, more related to this discussion later. Okay, so I will go to the questions. So I have 4 questions now, and first I will ask the panelists questions, and I hope also other participants can ask questions, and you can post the questions in the chat. We'll get to that after the first round. So we will have this 4 questions, and then we'll go to the questions. We'll take questions from the participants. Okay, my first question is for Dr. Priyo. So in this field, Zero Trust, and especially in Zero Trust network access, Frankie has also mentioned that in previous presentation. What's your perspective of that kind of technology versus VPN? VPN, we've used that so many, quite a long time before. And do you think this kind of technology should be controlled by enterprise to secure their remote users, especially this lately we have this kind of a pandemic that most of companies are forced to do remote work to especially for accessing their internal applications. Dr. Priyo?
Okay, thank you, Pak Arifin, and thanks for the questions. I think you're comparing technology. I mean, in my opinion, I think you need to kind of understand the context, why actually this kind of technology is being developed, right? I think it's not just for the sake of the technicality, right? But it's supposed to be solve certain business problem, right? And actually, it's supposed to be answer the real problem that being had by the company. I think if in the past the technology is probably talk on only as an enabler, while actually right now is technology being shifted to become the the growth engine of the company. And back into your questions, basically, you're comparing with VPN and the zero trust network. I think we need to understand again the VPN and also the context why it's being developed, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, it was developed the late 90s something, right?
Quite a long time ago.
A long time ago, right? And it is more on the site-centric solutions. What I mean by that is that you kind of able to define which site or which user that able to connect to that site, right? And basically the user create encrypted tunneling for the remote employee to access the crucial resources in the network in the company, right? I think from there we can, I mean the use of VPN signifies that the user is automatically trusted with these resources, right? I think initially you need to define, okay, this is my data center and this is the user that's supposed to be accessing these resources in the data center. And I think from this behavior, you can kind of understand that the behavior of the communications. 80% of the data will be located at the data center, where actually the rest outside the data center. And also it implying that you need to define who is trusted and who is not, right? And basically the initial development of the PVN is much more on the encryptions of the tunneling, right? Of course, they're doing some kind of basic authentication at the beginning. But recent today, I think the more user, I mean, as mentioned from all of the panelists, that the more user work perform of the enterprise, more workload is running on the infrastructure as a services outside the data center. More application is consumed via software as a services. More sensitive data is located outside, and more user traffic is aimed for the public cloud service than the enterprise data center itself. And lastly, is about even the traffic from the branch is not directly connected to the headquarters of data center, right? It's many times connect to the cloud. With this kind of condition, right? I think there is a requirement for a new way, right? Because VPN for sure as a technology is probably still can work right now, but again, it's talking about the complexity, right? Of this solution that we need to question as a user whether this is something that justified, right? And that's why there are new technology coming, like, you know, different mindset about using a zero trust network, right? And I think the assumption of this zero trust network is that we're not supposed to be trusting anyone, right? We need to check and check and check. It's like it's a bit different, like the VPN. You need to define this is the secure one, while actually the zero trust network is we are not trusting anyone. So answering your question, can we use a VPN for the current user? Well, technically yes, but is it effective? Probably no, right? Because again, there is a different requirement, there is a different challenge that's being faced by all of the enterprises in the market, right? I think that's my comment.
Thank you, Dr. Priyo. So it's a comprehensive answer you're mentioning about the background of how the technology is invented and how it's relevant with the current situation. I'd like to invite other panelists also to comment on these questions. Maybe we'd like to have insights from the user's perspective, the employee perspective. Is there any comment with the questions, related to the questions? Maybe Ramu, you can help me about this within your organization.
Okay. Actually, let me contribute here, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Zero Trust Network is actually part of the whole SASE concept. At the same time, it's not about, it's a progression from VPN. It doesn't replace the VPN. There are occasions where you still use VPN. There are occasions where you use Zero Trust Network. Well, when you watch your football, you still use VPN, for example. I'm just kidding. But so actually, these are actually different various components that form part of the bigger picture, depending on the application. So it's but today the new concept of Zero Trust Network is because of the increasing complexity of cybersecurity and increasing complexity of all the attacks. Zero Trust had been around for more than 10 years. For the past 9 years, nobody cared. But then with all the new concept and all the new attack and all the COVID new normal network infrastructure, then this Zero Trust suddenly come into the picture.
I see. So according to you, there are also cases that we can use both of technology simultaneously. Is that correct?
Not really, because VPN is used for simple remote access. Is it like when from your home or from the office to the connect? Whereas Zero Trust Network is more of the whole concept of the whole network in the whole enterprise infrastructure concept. Whereas VPN is one single component.
I see. So the technology itself is still being used, but with the in the user's perspective, they can use the Zero Trust Network access is by using the technology.
Yes, for example, VPN is how you achieve Zero Trust. You see, it's just a component of the whole thing.
I see. Thank you for the additional comments, Anthony. So I'd like to go to the questions. So you also mentioned about the SASE.
Yes.
It's the Zero Trust concept has been around like 10 years, but now because of the situations, getting need these kind of technologies even more. So it seems that more vendors are jumping into this bandwagon.
Yes.
So do you think, is there any urgency for this? What's the considerations and benefits for the enterprise of using this?
So yes, thank you. So yes, you brought an interesting point here. Even SASE, the same as Gartner actually originally talked about SASE 3 or 4 years ago, but nothing happened. But last year, less than 1 year ago, suddenly 10, 20 vendors start to talk, we have SASE. When one vendor says we have SASE, another one will have, then many vendors we also have. You're not ready. So what is this? You're right. Why is the bandwagon? Why is the urgency? And again, I believe that one reason why there is SASE is cloud-based. Okay, it's a very strange name, Secure Access Service Edge. So we know it provides security, secure access. Then again, we need to understand what is service edge, because with the new normal and all the lockdown and the remote access, the whole edge computing concept, the whole network infrastructure concept has been redefined. And a lot of these are now cloud-based. In fact, in the lockdown, cloud services and data center services are booming because everybody have to go to remote access. In fact, people like Alibaba and all their cloud services enjoyed 20 or 50% increase in service in the past 1 year because of the COVID lockdown, because of the increase of the work from home and all the diversification of the network infrastructure because of the lockdown. So SASE is part of this thing, because SASE uses the cloud. SASE is a collection of a variety of components that combine networking and security, using the cloud as a basis and platform, to provide the security benefits for the enterprise. So that is why Yes, is there an urgency? My answer is no, because we're not really ready yet. 6 months ago, 6 months, 9 months, nobody heard of SASE. Now everybody talks SASE. Are you sure? Are you ready? You talk to 5 different vendors, they have 5 different ideas what SASE is, although mostly it's the same. So most important for the end users, what do you want? For the enterprise, what do you need? You see, and how does SASE meet your requirement? What are the components in SASE, which also include zero trust, which include CASB, access broker, and also firewall as a service and other software as a service components, which provide the computer security components for the network infrastructure enterprise, through the cloud. So what are the considerations is, of course, scalability, because it's cloud-based, cost savings, things like that, you see. But it's not overnight. Oh, I want SASE. Call vendor. Hello, Mr. Vendor. I want SASE tomorrow. No, you have to. It takes months to decide what components you have, what components you need, what do you want to secure, what is your workflow. It's just like any other network security infrastructure project. Anyway, so people, the considerations are the same as any other enterprise security network project. It's just that this is a new packaging of the components of security, including SD-WAN, including, like I said, zero trust, and now leveraging the cloud, because today a lot of us are using the cloud services to provide and remote access services. So, I'm not really I'm giving a very high level picture there, but I'm answering your question. So is there an urgency? No, for the vendors, there seems to be some urgency, but for the enterprise, again, we need to consider SASE or not SASE. We need to understand what we need to secure. What is our workflow? What is our asset? What is our components? And then we work from there.
So basically, we will still follow the how to cope with the information security by doing, like, visualization of our assets on what's the risk and how we need to cope with the risk and things. So it doesn't mean that the SASE itself is an urgent, but doing the whole process correctly is more important, and you need to do that. And then based on that, if we need SASE, then there's one option. Is that kind of
like that? Correct. You are right. Okay. First of all, before we can do any security, you need to know what your asset to secure, what are your risks to secure, and on that basis, then you deploy the SASE. And SASE again is a collection of many components. You may not need all of it. You may not need all of it today. So you set what you want, and then because even you get everything, it may not meet your requirements. So you take it a step at a time. In that sense, that is the consideration, and then you get the benefits, which the scalability and and the costing option and all that kind of things.
I see. Thank you, Anthony, for the answer. Yeah, so it also may be connected to the first questions, first answers by Dr. Theo, that the environment itself is getting changed for some companies due to this situation lately, and that may be we need to assess that if that's if we need the whole pack of SASE, like the SD-WAN, the zero trust network, etc., then there's also one solution. But it depends on it depends on the situation, the environment of the enterprises are using.
Yes, correct. Because in the past year, even before COVID, many organizations embarked in the digital transformation. So in digital transformation, and when COVID come, you lagi faster, you taro, you hamtam, you just carry on, BYOD and remote access and mobile applications. So you lose control of your network infrastructure assets and workflow. So you get it in place first, and then SASE, piece by piece, where is the key CASB, where is the SD-WAN, where is the zero trust, will help you meet your requirement. Frankie, I think we can give a better picture later.
Yeah. So there's a call from Anthony. Frankie, do you want to add something on this question? Comments on this question?
Yeah, sure. I think maybe backtrack a little bit to add on to Dr. Prio. I mean, VPN, we know, is more like a authorized connectivity back, right, to the infrastructure. but that's not enough with a lot of risk of access. So role-based control, and then there's a slight difference between zero trust and zero trust network access. Right? Sounds similar, but zero trust is more broad. So it's like you apply a question, right? Zero trust. How do you do zero trust on your identity? How do you do zero trust on your PAM? How do you do zero trust on your access? Right? How do you do zero trust at your application? So it's very broad. Whereas a zero trust network access, okay, by definition of Gartner, this is really a new concept. It's mainly to augment VPN, really augment VPN's current limitation, which is more for limited number of users, but VPN doesn't have a lot of granular controls and lack of visibility, lack of adding so-called data protection, threat protection on top of just opening up the access into the infrastructure, right? So you don't see, you can run so-called a DLP or a threat protection ATP within the VPN appliances, right? So that are kind of limitation right now. So that's all I'd add to supplement the two panelists' conversation at the moment.
Okay. Thank you for the additional comment. That I will proceed to the next questions. Sorry, it's not showing all. So this is for Ramu. You are in doing business transformation, innovation in your organization, in your company. So from end user's perspective, do you think or do you foresee SASE being part of your security strategy to increase security of your business transformation and innovation?
Arfin, thank you. It was a fantastic question. It's more relevant. I would like to know, probably the short answer is yes, of course, but I would like to put the paint and context around it. And explain about who we are and how the context is get into this modern security framework and how that will be fit in. Being a Tonic, I'm from Tonic Digital Bank. Being a Tonic Digital Bank, it's born in a cloud. So you might surprised to hear the bank is born in the cloud, which is, bank born, which is never heard in security world. Yeah. We are, how come security for bank is running in the cloud? So we are operating out of Singapore and licensed in Philippines. But when you look at we run all our workload, it is a multi-cloud infrastructure. And it is running in multi-region, multi-availability zone today. And what you have is being a virtual neobank. All you have the offices. The offices is very basic perimeter security and VLAN management. The main, all your workload, which is going to run out of, remote. When I say remote, it can be multi-country and multiple cloud, different type of workload. Now, this complexity you bring into the security architecture mindset. Now, you need to manage security application architecture and network connectivity architecture, and then you're bringing with your real WAN capability. Now, still even going for the enterprises like us, we have two challenges. One is you go for a greenfield implementation where you have paintbrush and the empty paper, draw the complete security architecture, or the digital transformation. Frequently, our doctor is talking about, Frankie's talking about digital transformation, where you have existing enterprises, you are upgrading bits and pieces of component into remote. How today in the pandemic, you're allowing your call center people or back office operation guys working from home and accessing the data and application, which is very sensitive. For example, your core banking, your card management systems, and your call center team is attending the calls from home. So how this is feasible, that's where the transformation piece comes in. The both aspect, if you go one more layer, within the multi-cloud architecture, if I'm talking about greenfield, are we using cloud native? I'm not talking about IoT, but are we using cloud native? Are we using more cloud managed components out there? It can be your WAF, it can be your any type of your IaaS or SaaS or PaaS services which you have bought over. How these different endpoints are going to be secure over remote. This is where, as an end user, I used to, the first concern when I'm architecting this, we used to put together, oh, then the traditional network security no more is going to be applicable to me. I need a little bit different. The first thing start from even the security organization brought under the CTO, because this security model is no more, we are talking about our traditional security. Second, if you talk about your SD-WAN or SWG, or you're talking about CASP, or even if you're talking about your VAS as well, it's all going to be as a service, which is going to be allowed in Google or in AWS or in Azure. Starting from, this all need to be tied together. But unfortunately today, there is only few vendors jump into the boat and started talking about it. Does it mean, should I need to jump Eureka? No. But it's a step back. You look at in a step-by-step approach, which rightly mentioned by our senior panelist, Anthony. We looked at it, okay, what is the out-of-box available in cloud services within the security angle? We took that as part of SASE. And then you looked at for advanced capability, which is something Q4 or Q4 2021, which something we are already started working, working on finding the partners who can able to give this converged solution, which is covering the multi-cloud networking plus network security services, can blend together, provide the cloud delivered service model, which can provide more agility and provide endpoint security. Anybody, anywhere can able to securely log in, access things with less people. That is the critical. For being a neobank succeed, I cannot manage my traditional way of, 200 people operation team, 50 people of security team, and 30 different security products. No. So we need to consolidate all this and trying to be put in. This is exactly today we are here and discussing the multi-cloud, solving the multi-cloud problem, being virtual. And that's exactly we are in today. Of course, we are not solved the whole problem yet. We need, we will collaborate with the leaders like you. But the thing is, being an end user, it's a first step. Yes, a zero trust for handling the remote and session trust, and then SASE for converged solution, which is very important, and we cannot just live with VPN alone. That's my, our end user view, which is going to be very key for innovation and the transformation, because both business transformation and innovation require agility and quick go to market, which need security is part of business now, and no more advisory.
I see. Thank you for the great information from you based on experience. So it's a ongoing process, right? So you're doing it, right? And so as if I'm not mistaken, Dr. also mentioned that the security is now not only like accessing something, but it's part of the growth. So based on your information, it's really showing that kind of things. Then considering the SASE as part of the strategy to improve the security, to make the growth even further.
Perfect, Arfin. It's part of boardroom discussion now. That's what
Yes.
I can say.
Yeah.
No more.
No problem. No problem. So because we still have time, I'd like to invite other panels as well to comment. Maybe from not end user's perspective, but as you may have your own experience based in. So do you think it's a good strategy to secure our business transformation innovation.
So Arfin, let me add on to Ramo's comments. So to me, very honored to have Ramo talking on the show. So for sure, for somebody like Ramo, he's what I call at the leading edge of technology. First of all, digital banking is very new. Second of all, banking is banking. Banking is always ultra conservative banking. You need to ensure that nothing goes wrong because first of all, it's about trust. Trust of everybody who dare to put their money with you. Yeah, so I am really excited that he's on a panel, really a great insight. What is for sure we're hearing is there's no book to follow. Yeah, he's at the leading edge of technology. He need to innovate, he need to try. What I'm hearing that the solution is also complex. Everything is on cloud, and he's looking forward to the community, to every possible person out there in the ecosystem who could also help him to think through and see what works, what doesn't work. Yeah, that would be my input.
I see. Thank you, Pak Ray, for the comments. Great. So with that, I'll proceed to the next questions for Frankie. So Anthony mentioned about that SASE is consists or comprised of multiple technologies and network and security. So and Bitglass is obviously a SASE vendor. So I'd like to to ask your opinion about Bitglass is also this proposition, and also what's the values that the solution or the technology can provide for the enterprise.
Right. So I think there's always, as Anthony mentioned, important to know what you need now. What's relevant? Are you investing the right technology that is relevant for your future? So a strategic technology that is relevant now and also relevant for your future, which sometimes is unforeseeable, right? So among the panel, of course, Bitglass, we are the only vendor in the panel. So that's it. I mean, to give us a bit of perspective, how we built the technology and the innovation as one of the disruptor. So we started live as the next gen CASB vendors about 4.5 years ago. Our goal is to enable enterprise IT to secure their critical data in their growing cloud footprint, right? So as Ramo mentioned, their business is really cloud first, and technology is their growth engine, not an enabler, right? Not a burden. So we want to empower customer to secure their digital transformation without the burden of cloud infra or appliance operations, right? So when you are up the value chain, you're more focused on, from a cybersecurity point of view, focus on running the policies to so-called monitor, to secure, to so-called controls, right? Depending on governance, rather than infrastructure operations. So from that, we achieved the goal. Why? Because we are developing our innovation, our CASB as a service, right? Over public cloud native architecture, not a private data center or private cloud. So we achieve polyscale, which is a unique term. Polyscale means global footprint. Let's say, for example, more than 300 point of presence. So we need to have that footprint to be able to provide nearest point of presence service to multinational corporations or enterprises, right? So that also allow us to easily expand our technology stack, which is CASB, very relevant to customers today to address their current needs and pain point. Yeah, and allow them to add new technology stack within the service, secure web gateway, next gen, to we kind of like expand the or solve the limitation of on-prem secure web gateway into any network concept. and of course, zero trust network access, to, backhaul into the intranet application from anywhere. So you think of it like a distributed VPN plus more, plus role-based controls, plus at the same time doing data leakage protection, doing threat protection at multiple point of presence, doing backhauling to the intranet or internal apps, right? Definitely more scalable. But end of the day, these are not multiple console, right? The convergence means single pane of glass, single console, single policy, unifying that. Of course, aside from the innovation convergence, it will definitely drive better ROI than to buy individual silo technology stack, right? It may happen today, right? But next 2 years, 3 years, as what Gartner projection, right? SASE will be the key strategy. Customer will be adopting it. So why would customer adopt it? But ultimately, they want to reduce costs and make sure that technology will address their future problems or gaps better, right, than the current technology, right? So allow customer to focus on security monitoring, apply policy enforcement, controls to secure their critical data, may not be burdened by infrastructure management anymore. So that's the whole unique value proposition that we are driving in the industry, be it CASB that is very relevant today, or adding more technology stack into a SASE play.
I see. Yeah, so many, as Anthony mentioned also so many vendors lately, I mean, within this situation, pandemic situations, all of a sudden, many vendors mentioned that they have SASE, but Bitglass has been around with for quite some time, I think, right? Based on this technology, and one of the vendors that specialize on this kind of cloud technology. Yeah.
Yep. So the foundation will be different because all these are SASE as a service, secure web gateway as a service, zero trust network as a service, or CASB as a service, right? So ultimately, from a so-called a service responsibility point of view, customer will need to understand how the so-called SASE vendors or CASB vendor or secure web gateway vendor, whatever, how they build their infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Because customers don't operate the infrastructure, right? What they care about is service assurance, SLA. So if you're offering a service, customer will care about SLA. Where's your SLA? How do you enforce your SLA? Is there a penalty tied to your SLA, right? Because the foundation need to be rock solid, scalable, right? Resilient. So customer will use your service and focus on, the policies to protect their business or their data, right? So if your service is not stable, even though you have 1,000 features, your service down, there goes your 1,000 features, right? Together. So foundation build is very important. That's what we are proud of, to be a polyscale, and we make our founder make the right choice to go the right direction for full cloud native, public cloud native architecture, and developing our services on top of it globally.
Okay, team, we have 2 interesting questions in the Q&A. There are 2 interesting questions. So any more additional comments on question 4? If not, I think it's always interesting as a panel team to take on the questions from the floor.
Yeah, I think we should proceed on the questions from the floor.
Okay, so Parafin, can you read out the first question?
The first question is from Pak Dani Yulianto. He asks, how to implement zero trust in traditional infrastructure? Is there any strategy model to implement that kind of?
Okay, so let me add on only one more point from Pak Dani. Pak Dani happens to be a friend of mine. His question is from the system integrator perspective. Yeah. Any takers from panel team?
May I give some?
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
Paprel.
I think just a
Your
few,
hand,
right?
your old days.
Yeah, I think this is because I mean the perspective is from the system integrator. I mean you have a customer, right, that you want to pursue, right? So I think the first one is really understanding where is the appetite of this the customer, right? Actually the security or the technology aspiration or vision of this company, right? Is it something like for example, if Paramu mentioned his company is more on the cloud first, then okay, this solution is have a big opportunity, right? But if it is not, then I think you need to kind of understand about what would be the potentials or the use case of the use of SASE, right? And starting from there, right? I think at certain, I mean, company buy a solution with different reason, right? Even at the end of the life cycle of the product, they buy another thing, right? I mean, they must buy, right? But in general, you can try to seek use case that bringing the highest impact and starting from there, right? Because I think the for sure the company owner need to have a big impact that or big assurance that the new solution being developed is something that really bring the the safety, the confidence of their customer to deal with this company. I think that's my 2 cents.
Arfin, can I add it more?
Yes, please.
Probably from my end user perspective to the vendor. So when we are looking at zero trust architecture itself, you look at it whether are you building a heavy branch, lightweight branch, which is a thin branch, or a heavy cloud model. So heavy branch, which most of us we implemented in our lifetime, we put multiple data center with the BCP in place. We put different endpoint security, which is endpoint security is not new. It was last 5 years they are selling, which how you connect your router, VPN, firewall, WOCs, SWG, DLP, you connect all this. But it is either one location or probably 5 different locations, put them everything, monitor through your SOC and other stuff. But when you're moving from heavy branch to thin branch or heavy cloud, that means when you are moving from your traditional operation model to your transformation model. When you are bringing transformation model in comes in, you slowly move from a protected network to slowly start accepting remote connections or remote infrastructure such as a private cloud, because that is what still Indonesia, let's for example, people are trying. Instead of going into public cloud, why don't you do a private cloud? So when you're getting into private cloud, when you do fast virtualization, still how you do the containers, virtualizations, and that how those private cloud can be integrated to your complete protected heavy branch network. Then, because that's how you control the sessions, how the control users are completely protected. Not, I'm talking about your VPN users, you're talking about all different endpoints. It can be API, it can be your device, it can be your channel, it can be a remote user who accessing, it can be your partner who accessing your system. But that's a very advanced area where we want to zero trust work in the heavy cloud model. That's where you will really bring all the more advanced threat, the how you do the advanced threat modeling, how you do threat hunting, how you connect that with the DLP, how you do with SDP WAN, which can be replacing or working along with the WAN. Those are the area where how you bring CASP to replace your identity or remote identity, or even if you go for people now start thinking about tokenization for everything, which is the streamlined session which can be available for device, not user specific items. It's all token based exchange. So this required a little bit of more enterprise maturity. Depends on which state you are in, and or which state you are guiding your partner or customer. So that is where my suggestion is.
Thank you, Ram. Is there any panelists want to add on that? Okay. So if I may, well, I'm not panelists, but based on some experience, maybe I'd like to add something on this. Usually, before using like cloud services, we customers or enterprises are using like on-premise infrastructure, and then I think that's the point that the traditional infrastructure meant by Dani here. And usually what kind of strategies using that is we can do like grouping for those the traditional infrastructure, so-called traditional infrastructure, and also the other are more in the cloud services that may be shifted step by step. So we can do it partially. So for the new environments that's being built in the cloud, we implement this so-called zero trust technology that's based in this discussion, the whole discussion. And for the traditional infrastructure that we've already owned, we can put some part of segmentation that's on how to well, hopefully it will be still at that size, and the cloud or zero trust base will be become grow or larger in the future. So yeah, maybe that's some additional comment that I can do on these particular questions. So if there's no other comments on this question, I'll go to the next one. Oh, okay. So this question is from Pak Ari, I think. He asked about how big additional cost to add the SASE or zero trust on top of a traditional one. So maybe because it's related to costs, vendor sites. Frankie, you may, comment on this.
The question is to add additional.
Okay, let me repeat the question, Frankie. How big additional cost to add this SASE or zero trust on top of traditional one?
On top of what do you mean by traditional ones?
Okay, yeah, Arfin, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's the traditional,
architecture. I think
architecture. Yeah, when we are not using this SASE or zero trust environment.
Right. So, of course, for Bitglass perspective, this adding on top, let's say customers are already on the SASE, the CASB platform. So it's just about another, incremental cost of, example, 20-30%, right? Rather than to go on another silo approach of, spending the same amount, higher amount of dollar per technology. So that definitely on the convergence perspective, the multiple function in the same stack will drive higher return on investment, or stretching the dollar investment for the customers. And moreover, SASE will be a cloud model. So meaning it will definitely be on a subscription-based security service model rather than so-called ownership, perpetual or appliance-based kind of solution.
Okay, let me add on to what Frankie is saying. To me, I think we got to take a step back and look at what the question meant. So right now it's COVID. Right now money is tight for a lot of people. Right now, if you go to your boss and say, boss, I need to send money, your boss will throw you out from the room. Yeah, it's more like, boss, I got a great idea. How do I help you to save money? So I remember I take a step back is, first of all, we got to go back to what is driving this so-called need. I think a lot of end customers, and that's why we're having all these educational sessions going on, is missing a key point. So the key point is, first of all, cloud is inevitable. Yeah, somebody like me, somebody like William Ho, unfortunately he's not listening in. We're talking about cloud. When a cloud don't even exist, Anthony will probably be a lot more sympathetic. So to me, the key point is, first of all, because cloud is inevitable, you want to catch on the advantage of the cloud. That's why everybody is shifting towards this direction. When you're shifting towards this direction, what happens to your traditional architecture? It doesn't work anymore. So I always got this nice conversation with every CXO who trusts me. But I'm going towards a cloud, but yeah, I'm starting to worries about the security, etc. So to me, the key point is, friends, as you move yourself towards the new world, as you do your digital transformation, as you move away from the traditional architecture, because you are driven by a lot of factors, including your business user telling you, we need to launch this application immediately. Does it sound familiar? Yeah, so what's going to happen? It's not about the cost of adding on SASE. It's about the need in the first place and what's the consequences if you don't want to do it. Paramo, I'm sure, yeah, you will agree. Yeah, you are at the age of innovation.
But Ray, let me add on to this about the cost
Banking on the
perspective.
traditional architecture, that will be my key point, for example.
Okay, not only that, see, the whole, what you all have brought a good point there, because SASE is mostly cloud-based, the whole costing perspective is changed. You're not buying appliance or different assets. So it's moving on from more a CapEx to an OpEx model. And a lot of people like this. Again, we come back to why all the hype about the SASE is because of, especially you said money is tight today, nowadays times are hard. The OpEx model helps your cash flow and helps you with basically you pay as you go. This is the cloud, the promise, the value promise of cloud. You pay as you go, you buy the components that you want, and it's a more operational, it's subscription basis. What you want, you add more. What you don't want, you take away more take away some next year, and things like that. You see, on top of that, because it's a cloud-based SaaS subscription model, you no longer need maintenance. You no longer need a lot of your own local technical expertise to deal with it. No need to upgrade. No need to patch. Because all that is being cranky. Correct me if I'm wrong. All that is being taken care of by the provider.
Yeah, which brings me back to the first point. So there got to be a driver in the first place, and the driver is because of the current situation, digital transformation, the so-called attractions of the cloud, the competitiveness of business. You just cannot stay on your traditional architecture anymore. You got left behind. Yeah, so it's not a matter how much cost it's going to add. When the driving force become big enough, you automatically would have to think about it. It's like the fire is burning on your backside. What are you going to do? You're going to jump, right? Okay, so I hand back to the moderator.
Yeah. So yeah, what I understand from Anthony comment is that it's not basically it's not, well, in some sense it's not an additional cost, but because the costs itself are different from the traditional perspective and the operational part when we are moving to this kind of SASE or zero trust. So yeah, maybe that's what I understood from Anthony's comment. Okay, so other panelists want to also comment on this? If no, I think there's no other questions from users. I'm checking my window here. Okay, so because we don't have any questions, maybe I'd like to ask if panelists have final comments before we close this discussion session.
Yeah, Arvin, probably no. I will add it before.
No more questions. Then I'll take back this. Thank you, moderator. Okay.
Pak Ray.
Yes, yes.
Ramu is
want to say something?
Yes, say something.
Yeah. Okay. Ramu, continue. Sorry.
Ramu, probably I'll take a minute. So even though this is a nice concept and quite almost a couple of years we are discussing a lot, only suggestion is when you are evaluating, don't get into a contract of 5-6 years, because there's too many newcomers are coming in. This is very niche place. Don't commit anything more than 2 years of contract, which will go into, because no vendor pro in this area. They have everything now because it's purely new and everybody trying to consolidate, and none of the solution is in a great shape as of now. So please, don't put into a long-term plan as part of strategy rather than go for a small chunk. As I think Franklin or Anthony, one of you explained, understand your process and go with the chunk by chunk. So that is my request. Yeah, thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Ramu. Okay, thank you, panelists, for great discussions today.
Thank you for great hosting.
Thank you, Anthony.
Well, certainly, thanks. Hopefully, it's beneficial to among the panel peers and of course to the audience.
And thank you also, Pak Frankie and Pak Ray for facilitating and hosting.
Okay, so guys, panel team, if you all guys are good, Arvin, well done as usual. Yes. Thank you, panel team. I still got a couple of last tasks that I need to complete before we can end the session. So one request from our sponsor is there's a nice, very short video on what SASE is all about. Let me play it for everybody. But before we go to that as well, for me, I call it a commercial break, just a short 2 minutes. So the other message that I have for the audience today is we got limited number of CSSP still as of date in the Indonesian market. One of my dream has always been to grow the CSSP community. Arvin, you are a CSSP. Anthony, your old champion of the CSSP, and IC2, of course. So we got class coming up in March, starting on the 6th. It's an all-weekend class, 5 Saturdays. Very tough, but normally I draw a very good response. So asking the community, asking all of you to help me to spread the word. On top of that, something exciting, we are getting some support communications going on with a company called Offensive Security. Offensive Security offer a very nice certification called OSCP. So that one is a hacker's dream. Yeah, if you want to be recognized for your hacking skills, the OSCP is the right certification to go for. So the good news is we're offering a combo. If you need some good pricing to take your OSCP as well, we got some special discount voucher supported officially by Offensive Security. So with that, I end my 2 minutes of commercial. Okay, guys, don't go off immediately. At least let's spend 1 hour. We understand something. At least all of us have a better understanding of what SASE is all about. Let me play that short video, very short, and we will end from there. Hang on a second. Let me bring back my screen and let me turn it on.
Web destination, on-premises resource or infrastructure. With cloud computing, BYOD, and remote work, corporate data is accessed and stored everywhere around the world. Organizations need to defend this data, block threats, and achieve regulatory compliance. But using choke point security appliances for policy enforcement is no longer a scalable, viable strategy. Bitglass's secure access service edge platform integrates its Magic Quadrant leading cloud access security broker with zero trust network access and the world's only on-device secure web gateway. Bitglass provides a single dashboard for configuring policies that secure data consistently wherever it goes. Deployed in the public cloud, Bitglass's polyscale architecture boasts an industry-leading uptime of 99.99%, delivering unparalleled performance and real-time scalability anywhere in the world. Total cloud security, consolidated ease of use, and unrivaled performance. Only with Bitglass.
Okay, so we are done. There was a nice snappy video about what SASE is all about. So thanks team, thanks Bitglass for the sponsorship. Thanks ESPC for helping. I'm sure. Oh, sorry, there is a sound from my YouTube. Okay, I stop it. Yeah. So I was saying thank you ESPC for supporting in Malaysia. They are all excited. They are all watching it live, either on YouTube or on the ESPC channel. So with that, I'm going to close off the show. I'm sure we'll be back again. Thanks everybody for supporting, listening in, and of course, thanks very much to the participants, without which William will always like to say then no meaning for us who are on the show. Yeah. So thanks all participants for joining us. Yeah. Thank you very much. We're going to close off. Yeah.
Terima kasih.
Thank you all.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Bye-bye.
Thanks Dr. Pratama. Yeah. Yeah. So glad
Thank
to
you.
have you back.
Malam.
Yeah. Malam. Not malam, still see.
Oh yeah, malam ya. I haven't even sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye. Good luck. Thank you, Ray.
Bye.
Pak Ray.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And KP,
Thank you,
good to see
Pak
you.
PK.